Why testers and developers are sworn enemies. Little bit of a clickbait title. It's not entirely true, but there's definitely a certain amount of anxiety that both cause each other. Just to clarify, in most dev teams, technology teams, a developer does a piece of work. It's usually based on a ticket that he's been given, he or she. Once complete, the developer shares his work with some other developers. They review the code, try and spot any little issues that a second pair of eyes can be beneficial for. Once it's all good, it gets merged into the main repository of code, ready for the QA team or the testers to go and inspect the, functionality or interface that's being built. And I mean that's one stage of it, and that's in terms of testing features. But also then when a piece of work is going to be released to production, quite often it's not just one piece of work. Quite often it's a group of features, and the testers will not only retest each of the features, but they'll probably do what's called a regression check. So that will involve just testing the website's key user journeys, checking if there's just been any general regressions, which maybe as individual features were not introduced, but as an accumulation of all the features put together, something has happened that's unexpected. So what you regularly find is developers being a little bit maybe self-conscious about their work, feeling a bit aggrieved if a tester's coming to them with issues that's not necessarily their fault, and then if they decide to try and fix it, is the rest of the business going to think, oh, this must have been this developer who made the mistake? Also, the poor testers, I would argue, have to deal with not necessarily having as much information at hand as the developers, not necessarily understanding the underlying work as well as the developers, because obviously they're not in the code, if you like, and they're having to bring issues to developers. Developers are sometimes able to run rings around them in terms of technical speak, and all combined, it can just lead to a little bit of animosity and a perception that the QAs and the dev team are constantly fighting. And releases to production are the real culprit. They're the ones where people sometimes have to end up staying late in work. As a team, you're going to have to stay together. It's no good if just one person does it. You need all hands on deck in that kind of environment, and the developers think that the QAs or the testers should have found the issue before it went to production. The QAs or the testers think that the developers should have anticipated this and given them more information about how they needed to be testing the task. And without a good manager, without a good lead, without a good QA manager, and without lots of communication in the middle, lots of planning, lots of retrospectives, these situations can get quite bad, can lead to quite a toxic environment. So if you'd like more information like this, subscribe and go to our website, TechHerds.